So in this subject of manufacturing technology, in last lecture we have started our discussion on various casting processes. We have seen the classification of the various casting process, and then first we talk about cell mold casting, and then we have seen certain advantage, limitation and application of the cell mold casting. Then second type of casting that we are discussing is pressure die casting. And in that pressure die casting, we have a die which is filled by a molten metal which is pressurized by some external force. And in that one, we have two category. First one is a hot chamber die casting, and second one is a cold chamber die casting. And in the hot chamber die casting, as we have talked earlier, that it has a chamber in which uh, we have a furnace. That furnace is used to heat the molten metal, as well as we have this cylinder through which the metal will flow by the pressure of this plunger. Okay, so plunger will move down and the molten metal that will flow inside the hollow cavity, and after solidification this movable die that will move, and the solid object that will be removed or ejected from the die, and that's how this hot chamber die casting works. As we talked earlier, that in a hot chamber die casting, the furnace or the member heating chamber, that is the one component of the machine itself. It is not apart from the machine, it is the integral part of the machine, and the heating process as well as the injection and cooling process that will be done on a same machine. So that is why generally this hot chamber die casting is limited for low melting point metals like zinc, tin and lead. So that is what we have discussed about hot chamber die casting. Now in this lecture we are going to talk about cold chamber die casting. So as we told earlier that cold chamber die casting consists separate furnace. Okay, it will consist separate furnace from the melting for the melting of the metal. While in hot chamber die casting, it is the integrated part of the machine itself. The metal is melted separately in the furnace and then transferred to the cold chamber by using small hand ladle. Okay, so this is the ladle. Okay, in that ladle we will fill the molten metal, and then that hot molten metal that will be filled inside the cylinder. And then to force the metal into the die. Okay, now this is the die, and now we want to fill this die by using this molten metal which is over here. So to force it, the plunger is pushed. Okay, so this plunger or ram that will be pushed inside the cylinder like this, and it will be pushed forward. Okay, and the forward motion that will be either mechanical or hydraulic, okay, or pneumatic, that depends. So the plunger will move and the molten metal that will be filled inside the hollow cavity. So as you can see here, this plunger has moved to this point, so the whole cavity which is filled by the molten metal. And then again, after solidification, the movable die that will move, and the object will be taken out from the cavity, and that's how this hot chamber die casting works. After solidification, the die is opened and casting is ejected. Cold chamber machines are mainly used for making casting in aluminum, brass and magnesium. It will be used for aluminum, brass and magnesium. While hot chamber die casting that we have seen is for zinc, tin, lead, okay, such kind of material. While cold chamber die casting we are using for aluminum, brass and magnesium. The life of this machine is more because the melting unit is separated from the working parts. Okay, so this is why the cold chamber having this advantage that it's have a more life as compared to hot chamber die casting, because in this one furnace is a separate part. It is not an integrated part of the machine, so that the working part that may not be affected by that, and that is the main advantage of a cold chamber die casting. But here in this case we have to make some arrangement to melt the molten metal inside the furnace and fill it by the ladle. Okay, so that what we have to do the adjustment. While in hot chamber die casting we do not need to worry about that shifting or transferring of the material. Only the machine, the furnace is itself into the machine, and the plunger that will push the molten metal and it will be filled into the cavity. While in cold chamber die casting we have to use ladle to fill the molten metal inside the cylinder. And the life of the die is less because the machine involves very high pressure. Okay, so here this die has a less life as compared to hot chamber die casting, because here we require higher pressure. Because the reason is that when we transfer the material from furnace to the cylinder, it may lose some heat, and when the heat is rejected, the flowability of the material that will be decreased, and that's why it require higher pressure as compared to hot chamber die casting. Okay, so the die life is less as compared to hot chamber die casting, but the overall life of the machine is larger as compared to hot chamber die casting. Okay, so this is the uh, cold chamber die casting. So this is how this cold chamber die casting works. Now both the hot chamber as well as cold chamber die casting, which is comes under the category of a pressure die casting. So here in general we are going to discuss about the advantage of the pressure die casting. Either it will be a hot chamber or cold chamber, we are talking about their advantages. So the first advantage is that they have a high production rate. Okay, they have a very high production rate because the once the die is made, okay, no need to break it or there is no alteration is required, and large number of product can be produced by the pressure die casting. And the die is generally made up of metal, so it has a long life as compared to that cell and sand die casting, and that's why sand casting, and that's why the production rate is very high as compared to other. Then economical for large production. When we have a same product that will be made in a large quantity, so once you have to make the die and then it will be used for thousands of product. Okay, so it will be economical for large number of production. Then very close dimension tolerance up to plus or minus 0.076 mm, means it is very close dimension tolerance which can be easily obtainable or possible on a very small part, and that is the one of the very good advantage of this pressure die casting, because generally the dimension tolerance is the major factor in industry, and that is easily controlled by using this pressure die casting. As well as it has a good surface finish. It has a good surface finish, so that we do not require any secondary operation. So the uh, time and the cost for doing that secondary operation, that can be drastically reduced, so that we can increase the productivity. Then thin section up to 0.5 mm can be easily cast, and this is also one good advantage, because in sand casting and salmon casting, such a thin part which is to be cast is very very difficult or almost impossible. Okay, so that can be easily, such a thin part which can be easily produced by pressure die casting, either hot chamber or cold chamber. By both the way, we can make a thin sections of very small size. Then it has certain limitation, that only small parts can be made. Only small parts can be made by a pressure die casting, because there are certain reasons, like the die manufacturing of die for a big product is very difficult. Second, when we have a large or big product, big casting, and at that time the transfer transfer of that molten metal, okay, that is very difficult, because we have to take such a big cylinder to store that particular big molten metal, and then it will be pushed. So it is very 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 difficult to handle this, and that's why that pressure die casting is applicable only for a small parts. Then only non-ferrous alloys and metal can be commercially cast. Okay, generally non-ferrous alloys and metals which can be commercially cast, and in that metal is also up to certain temperature only, and that is the limitation, because the high temperature metals which which require a big furnace or higher melting temperature furnace, and when the furnace is integrated part of the machine, then it is very difficult to handle, and that's why it will be useful for such casting metals and non-ferrous alloys only. Due to high cost of equipment and die, the process is economical only for mass production, because the die and the cylinder and the plaster as well as the furnace arrangement all are very costly equipment. So for a small production, if you purchase all these things, it is not economical. But when we have a large number of production, then and then we can go for this pressure die casting. Then due to entrapped air, the die casting are porous, which reduce mechanical property of the component. Okay, so this is one drawback. The air will be entrapped. Some portion of the air will be entrapped, and when the air will be entrapped into the uh, casting, it may generate a porosity, and that porosity is nothing but it is a one kind of a casting defect, and that's why uh, this is the limitation of this pressure die casting. Now some of the area of the application where we can use the pressure die casting. So first is the household equipments, like decorative parts, mechanical parts of mixtures, fan, vacuum cleaner, washing machine, can openers, refrigerators, etc. can be made by pressure die casting. Okay, so all these are the household equipment, and which can be uh, made by pressure die casting. Second, industrial equipments like motor housing, crane parts, motor, rotor fans, impeller wheels, which can be made by this pressure die casting, because we know that all are a small part and they have a very thin and complicated shape, so which can easily operated or which can be easily made by die casting. And as you know that the motor housing and crane parts and motor and rotor fan impeller wheels, all we require is in a mass, and that's why for a mass production we can use these die casting. Then automotive parts like windshield frame, window channel, bodies of fuel pump, carburetor, handles, rear view mirror parts, brake shoe, okay, which can be made by the pressure die casting. And again, automobile industry, it is a mass production industry, and all parts that we require in a big numbers, and that's why we can go for a pressure die casting. Then toys like pistol, electric train, model aircraft, automobile toys. Okay, so all these can be made by a pressure die casting. And other parts like taps, valves, burners, fire alarm system, telephone set, speakers, staplers, typewriters, okay, which can be made by pressure die casting. Okay, so as you can see that pressure die casting has a wide area of application. Household, okay, you can also find it in some industrial equipment. You will find it in a automobile industry. You will find it in a toy industry. Okay. Not only that, but for us, some taps and valves and burners. Okay. So kitchen and sanitary wares. Okay. So which can also be made by pressure die casting. So that's why pressure die casting is one of the important or well adopted casting process in industry for making various components. So we have talked about uh, pressure die casting, okay, and in that pressure die casting we have talked about hot chamber die casting and cold chamber die casting. So in hot chamber die casting, the furnace, that is the integral part of the machine, and it will be generally useful for low melting point metals like zinc, steel and lead. Okay, and then we talk about a cold chamber die casting. In that one we have a separate furnace, and in that one it will be useful for aluminum, brass, magnesium and such a type of metals. And it has a certain advantage, it has certain limitation and application. So this is all about a pressure die casting.